YouTube? We're gonna do this again because I have my phone connected to Bluetooth and I have it turned down, so apparently y'all could not hear me. Shout out to, I believe his name was Robert. I saw it really fast. You let me know that y'all couldn't hear me. Thank you so much. So I'm gonna record this again. Luckily it's straight and to the point. The title, recap versus reset. I have done a similar video, but today I'm going to show y'all the recap portion. So I had only ever done recap 2 weeks the last time I was here during the 7 months. And the 34-hour reset works better for me personally because I enjoy that time off. Now, the biggest question that all of us, YouTube truckers get is it better to just run every single day, or is it better to reset? And that depends on you, actually. So like I said, I personally like to reset, but the fact still remains, 34 hours off every single week. That 34 hours, you could do 2 small loads, you could do 1 large load. You're losing money. I mean, that's a fact. If you're not rolling, you're not making money. But it all depends on how you run. You could make the same amount, if not more, depending on where you're out of, how you drive, and your stamina and all of that fun stuff. So there's a lot of factors. It's not as cut and dry as, this one works better than this one or whatever. But with COVID being a thing right now, I'm not in a big hurry to do no 34. And right now, we're not doing a 34. As I told y'all in the previous video, we would be. And here's why. So in the last video, I looked at the Qualcomm and said, okay, I gotta go. They're calling me. It's time to go. So when I got off the video, I checked the Qualcomm. I had already gotten a phone call from the Denver terminal letting me know that the load that I was there to pick up at Sam's distribution center going to Utah from Denver, I wasn't gonna be able to forward it any more past Cheyenne, Wyoming, because 80 and 70 were shut down due to high winds and low temperatures and all this stuff. So I was only gonna be able to go like 50 miles, but it's something. I was quite annoyed that day because, as y'all know, I had been sitting there. My drop off and pickup were at the same exact place. The only problem is my drop off was at 11:15. We got there at 10:45. No big deal. The pickup wasn't until 1600, which is 4 p.m. And they said that it could be ready early. Okay, we waited. No restrooms there. I told y'all that in the last video. So I hadn't used the restroom since 9 a.m. I'm waiting for the load. They call me and they're like, hey, by the way, weather situation. Okay, whatever. Then 1600 comes. 4:15 comes. And I'm picking up my phone to call the terminal to say, hey, what's the trailer number? I get a message from the Qualcomm that says, due to the inclement weather and the fact that they didn't know when the highways were going to open back up. So for those of you who don't know, 80 and 70 run the same direction. You could go around. If 80 is the route that I was supposed to take. It's the normal route that you would take if you listen to this Qualcomm. Other trucker GPSs are going to send you 70. But going through Wyoming has the weirdest fucking weather. We've already discussed it. Yes, I have become acclimated to driving in it, for those people that'll ask that question. But 70 was closed as well. So the 3 of us Swifties that were sitting there waiting for our loads from Sam's, the Sam's canceled the orders. So I was out those miles and it left me with 15 hours on my clock. And I was off the clock during the time I was sitting there. That's very important. So I was like, well, fuck it. We'll just go back to the terminal and we'll just reset and, keep it moving on Tuesday or Wednesday. The guy calls me that I was working with at the terminal in Denver. And he's like, hey, I'm really sorry, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, I lost those 500 miles, but He gave me a load. It's 1,226 miles. At least that's what it said on the thing. It winded up being, when I put it in here, 1,256 miles. So, this was Sunday evening. By the time I got to the terminal, it was after 6 p.m. We ordered some food to be delivered because, everything is shut down pretty much. So, we ordered some food, did laundry since we were at the terminal. And I couldn't start advancing this load because I was tired. Like, the whole fucking day had already gone. And I needed to figure out how I was going to get from point A to point B. So what's the load? Coors Light, I picked it up at the terminal. It's a T-call going from Denver all the way to Portland, Oregon. And it has to be delivered this Wednesday, tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. I had 15 hours on my clock. Now, why is this important? One, you need to know how to trip plan. So, do I take my 34 and just haul ass a day and a half? Or do I take these 15 hours and wait for my recap? Now, the reason I use the word wait is because y'all know I just came back. Tuesday was our first official day in the truck. I say our for y'all that missed the last video. My son is with me. Does not care to be on camera. So Tuesday was our first official day of logging in, driving, and heading out of Texas. So today is day 7 of the week. I don't care what school you go to. I don't care what anybody tells you. If you remember anything from these videos, always remember after you've worked, your first 8 days. Every day is the 8th day. The first time I got told that, I was dumbfounded. I was like, that doesn't make any sense. There's only 7 days in a week, right? Because I'm a literal person. No. After the 7th day, so back in the day, paper logs, you had the 7 days. On the 8th day, which would be day 1 after 7, they call it the 8th day. Stay with me. On the 8th day, whatever hours you worked, day 1, fall off. And so then when you're doing your log, those fall off, and you can add those hours to the bottom number, and you have more hours. Okay, this is how people run recap. So I'm going to show you how many hours I have right now, how I managed to get to this point, and how I've planned it to where I'm still going to make it tomorrow at 8 a.m. So those of you who have been with me on this channel and on this journey, y'all have watched my 4-day challenge where I challenged myself against the clock with a load and time that it was almost impossible. And I made it with seconds, I think I had a few minutes left. I don't remember. I think I had 12 minutes or 2 minutes. It was something weird and whack, but I did it. And there was people just on the edge of the seat having little watch parties to see if I was going to make it. And if I would have failed, I would have filmed it all the same. But I made it. Now, I've even topped that. So, it's Sunday night, 1,226 mile load, and I have 15 hours on my clock. And I haven't been here 7 days. I only started working last Tuesday. So what the fuck do? I don't have hours to recap. Or do I? Let's see what happens. So, I had 15 hours on my clock. I went, found my load, got up at 4:30. I got up at 3:30, showered, everything. Anyways, we set out to leave at 5. At 5 o'clock, I do pre-trip. Damn, I'm already out 15 minutes. We go find the trailer, super easy. For once, this never happens. For once, it was actually in the spot that the T-call sheet said. So that was wonderful. Go to back up to it. Whoever the kid was that had it before me, didn't put it where the landing gear was supposed to go, so the trailer was super fucking low. And even with the airbags completely deflated, moving, there was no way the fucking tractor was gonna go. We had to lift this entire fucking trailer, and right now we're sitting at 77,000 pounds, so the fucking trailer is heavy. And it was fucking cockeyed. Anyways, it was a fucked up situation. Bad way to start a morning. Needless to say, we got our workout in that morning. My son earned himself a nice chunk of change for helping crank out 10 more fucking rows that my shoulders just did. I've lost a lot of weight, and in doing that, I've lost a shitload of muscle. I've lost 50 pounds just since last summer. So you lose a lot of muscle, and I'm sitting there like cranking and cranking and cranking, and my arms gave out. I was like, fuck this, man. I can't even do it anymore. So my son's like, well, I can try to help, and he gets out there, and I mean, he's cranking it out, and I'm watching it. And he's like, oh, you got it? Okay, fine, we get it. That takes a whole fucking hour to lift this fucking trailer, get it attached, do another pre-trip. It was a lot. So damn, now I'm down to 13 3/4 hours. What do? I stick to my plan. I decided against the 34-hour reset primarily because my son is with me and I don't want to do that to him. When I do crazy runs like I did that 4-day challenge, I don't eat. What I do is even when I was keto, I would build up on carbs the night before, and then I don't eat or drink anything prior to, so many hours prior to leaving, so that I don't have those bathroom breaks or anything like that. And by that point, I'd already built up my stamina. This is my first week out. I didn't want to do that to him. If I was by myself, I probably would have done it if COVID wasn't a thing. There's nothing open anywhere. So I go to the movies, go like to the nail salon, all the shit that I used to do. I can't do any of that. So what the fuck am I going to do for 34 hours? Sit around Walmart? Like, no, I fucking would rather just keep moving. But we're going to get to that. So I decided we have 15 hours. Okay. Now we're down to 13 and a half. But going back to the 15, I said, look, we're going to lose an hour on breaks. Either way we look at it. So I started with the 14 hours, and I said we're just going to drive 7 hours each day. So eventually I'm going to run out of hours. That happened today. But it was planned. We knew it was going to happen. Why? Tomorrow is my first 8th day. So in my mind, I knew tonight at midnight, whatever hours that long ass first day that we had, because it was a long ass day, I knew I was going to get those hours back tomorrow. So here's what it looks like. All right, let me turn y'all around. All right, here's my clock. So, as you can see, couldn't get any closer than that, right? Okay, where are we going? 8th day. How many miles have I driven in 8 days? Well, 7 days total, really. How many days have I driven in how many miles have I driven? For those of you who are going to get your calculators, 3,319 miles when I deliver this load. So that math was done this morning with the miles that I had on the navigation system. 3,319 miles. Okay? So, now that we got the smart asses out of the way, let's do some actual fucking math. So, the 9th, which was last Tuesday, was my first day. Now, normally, y'all are used to seeing 600s up all on my mileage, because that's how I normally drive. I drive all 11 hours. Those weren't the kind of loads that I was getting to get out of Texas. Now remember, freight was just picking back up, all of this other fun stuff. I just wanted to drive. I didn't give a fuck where I was going, what I was doing. Let's just keep it moving. So that worked out to my advantage, because here I am now. So I don't have anything before the motherfucker. What is the request has been sent? I don't know what I just requested, but whatever. I requested my logs. Wonderful. So those 12 hours and 32 minutes is going to come back to me tonight. How can you check this? You click status, right? Hours to be gained. It's going to be 12 hours and 32 minutes, because every day is the 8th day. Now, so as you can see, I have 0, 0, 0, 0. Now, it was exciting getting here. So, I'll tell you that story in just a minute. So, out of the 1,256 miles that was logged on the navigation system when I put the address in there, yesterday we drove 7 hours. I wanted to hit 400 miles, but due to being in the middle of the mountains and there's, not so many rest areas and truck stops. We had to stop at that one because I couldn't go over that 7-hour mark. That was very important to me, and I'll tell you why in a minute. And then today, all I started out with this morning was 5 hours and 1 minute. Well, 15 minutes of that goes to pre-trip and 15 minutes of that goes to post-trip. And I didn't need to take a break because I didn't work 8 hours. So, yesterday I didn't take a break either because I parked at 7 something. There it is right there. 6 hours, 58 minutes. So, what does this all mean? People who run recap hours don't ever take a break. They never take a break, which means that hopefully it means that they're constantly rolling and making money. If you're sitting around for 34 hours, you're not making money. So it just depends. Now I will say, this is a lot of miles for 1 week. This is my first week back. And, that's a lot of miles for 1 week. Just saying. Am I tired? No. I was very much looking forward to my 34-hour break, though, because I do other things. Y'all already know I'm writing a book, but on top of that, that's when I do my grocery shopping, my laundry, and all of this other stuff that you don't have time to do when you're on the road. But it was the only way I was going to be able to do this load. So we're rolling with the punches. Today, so I broke it up 7-7, whatever. Got stuck in some really funky weather today, coming through the ass end of Utah, coming into Idaho. Not only did we have a massive downpour of rain, but the temperature went from 70 into the low 40s. We had ice, we had hail, we had snow, we had, like I said, downpour of rain. So I knew in my mind an idea of where I wanted to stop. So those of you that are new coming out here, or if you're thinking about coming out here while you're out still driving your 4-wheeled vehicle or your motorcycle, whatever the fuck it is you drive, pay attention to signs. Because out here, all you do is read fucking signs all day long. Everything is important. The cars, the people, their fucking animals, if the windows are open, every single thing that we look at is important. Now, I grew up around trucks and truck drivers, so I've always known that. I've always counted the mile markers. I've always done all this other weird stuff that you're going to learn how to do. Learning how to work this clock and not let this clock work you, you should learn this right alongside you're worrying about your backing and all that shit. Backing is not hard. It's not hard. It's going to take you some time. When I started, I couldn't keep this thing in a straight line to save my fucking life. Because I was overthinking it. It's a big trailer. I thought I needed to do big swanging banging to make this shit I didn't need it to do anything. I just needed the trailer to stay straight. They park it straight and say, hey, go from here to here. My trailer would be over there. My trailer would be over there. And now I have backed this thing up all kinds of fucking weird ass places, and I have no fucking problem doing it. I could park this thing any fucking where you want me to. Some places you're going to hear me complain about it because I'm like, why the fuck did you have a Swift truck? Just happened to me recently. Why did you have a Swift truck? Why didn't you get a fucking U-Haul? Hire somebody to get a fucking hotshot driver. But anyways. Backing is not hard, guys. It's not. There are meticulous recipes, I like to call them, for how to do parallel and offset, which I've never had to do either one of them out here. I still know how to do them. Maybe it'll come in handy one day. Maybe it won't. I drive smarter, not harder. That's another thing you really need to do out here. Don't put yourself in fucked up situations. Just don't. Now, having said that, I like to run this clock. I like to push those boundaries. Now, my calculations, as with anybody that would have been in this situation, you cannot control the weather. So, rookie me on the Mentor's truck wouldn't have driven through this weather that I went through, especially at the speed that I was going. I wasn't speeding, just so we're clear. The new camera system that we have in here will tell if I fucking fart too loud, okay? So, I wasn't speeding, but I'm comparing today me to last year rookie me on first Mentor's truck, okay? We're going to get that out of the way. Now, moving forward, I didn't have any problem driving through Wyoming in its weird ass fucking weather. And yes, it is still snowing. And we didn't have any problems getting through fucking Utah today with the hail and the ice and all this other weird shit that goes on up here in the mountains. So, but it does slow you down. So, while I can't go my 65 mile an hour, I'm, kicking in at, 55 to 62. And I'm super, super heavy. And the trailer, I wouldn't have picked this trailer myself personally, but I didn't have a choice. The trailer's got really shitty tires. So, I'm like trying to be careful. The ABS light's going off. It's, you just got to be aware of what you're doing. So I got slowed down back there. So I'm like, fuck. My thing goes off. I'm still right at 700 miles to go. I need to get that number down because I got 12 hours and 32 minutes coming to me tomorrow, but this is a live unload. It has to be there at 8 o'clock in the morning. Live unloads, 2 hours. Sam's is usually pretty good about keeping their time window. Then I'll have enough time to go to the Oregon terminal and park. Now, will I take a 34 reset? I hope so. I really don't like running recap, but I want to show you that you have options and how to work those options to your advantage. We come out here to make money. This is how you do it. That fucking clock, you need to know how to work it. I got so fucked in the beginning because I didn't know how to work my clock. And I've done plenty of videos on the clock, but now I'm showing you the flip side of how to do it when you're running recap and what the difference is. The difference is you're going to make more money. Can you make the same amount of money if you're doing a 34-hour reset? It all depends on you. You sit in this seat behind the steering wheel. You decide how long you're going to fucking run. When I do my reset, I run until that clock says I can't fucking go anymore. Now, then I really need my break. Here, I'm just driving, 7. I think the most I did was on the first couple of days. We did 8 hours each day. Ooh, 8 hours to somebody who's used to working 12-hour days is nothing. So it's a walk in the fucking park. We get done, we go fuck around, sit here, do nothing, watch TV, whatever. But for my first week back, 3,319 miles, would I have been able to do that with the 34-hour reset? No. I needed to keep rolling. So that's the difference there. Now, having said that, my son is very excited about this 34-hour reset. He's having a grand old time looking at the mountains and stuff. My daughter with me last summer, we were East Coast. She could care less about pictures and stuff. He's really into photography, so he's having a blast. And we were East Coast, and I specifically asked to come out here, and here I am. And while one load got taken off of me for, inclement weather or whatever, I lost those 500 miles, but I picked up double and then some the miles. So, and still was able to get it done in the same amount of time. So the only thing I really sacrificed was my reset. But on Friday when I get paid, I won't be fucking complaining. So that's the difference. Now, how many miles do I have left to go? We started out with 1,256.
Home. Messaging.
So when my alarm went off, there's a little alert in here when you get to your hour, 30 minutes, 15 minutes. And I didn't know until today. At 1 minute, she really starts talking shit to you. So at the 59-minute alert, meaning that I only had 59 minutes left to drive. And not like I could take a break and come back. Like I legit, y'all saw my 70-hour screen blank. I didn't have any time to play with. We were at 700 miles and I had 59 minutes. So I asked my son, hey, we're not going to make it to the other place because we got slowed down. It was like 2.5 hours of this bullshit weather. So I said, start looking up, when's the next truck stop? Let's see how far out it is. It was only 14 miles. I looked down. I said, no, we need to go further. I need to push this 59 minutes out as far as possible. And he's like, okay. Well, the next one is 88 miles. I said, that's too far. We only got 59 minutes. Can't go 88 miles in 59 minutes, at least not in a Swift truck. So then I said, okay, fuck that. Go ahead and look for rest stops, because I knew, paying attention to the mile markers, we were getting ready to cross into another state. So anytime you cross into a new state, there's always going to be a rest area within the first 30 miles. I don't care where you are, which state you're going to. You're going to see a welcome center and a rest area. And so I was like, okay, we're going to be in Idaho soon. How far out is the rest stop? He was like, well, there's one, right when you cross over. And there was. And it had a nice sign. At that point, I was at 666 or something like that. Miles to go. And it said, rest area in 2 miles. Next rest area, 45 miles. So I was like, fuck it. I looked at the clock. I had 49 minutes left. Did I do it? Well, you just saw my clock. We did it. I could see on the other side of the mountain that the bad weather is clear on this side. So I said, as long as we can get over this mountain and we can keep this truck moving at least 50 miles an hour, and I'm familiar with this route, I knew that I didn't have any more uphills to go, so I wasn't going to be going super slow like I was coming from Colorado. Or Wyoming, sorry, we woke up this morning in Wyoming. So I said, fuck it, let's do it. It did start raining again a little bit, but not too much. So we made it post-trip, and there I am sitting at 0, 0, 0, 0. And I will run the rest of the 606 miles tonight. This stupid glare. There you go. We're going to Coors in Portland, Oregon. 0, 0, 0, 0. So, you have some questions, you have some options. I hope that I have given you the information to help you, navigate what works for you. Now, obviously, when you first get out here, you're going to be all excited, you're going to be terrified, you're going to be scared, you're going to have this person over here that hopefully is informative. Hopefully they're informative and they're nice and they're helpful. But when you get behind this wheel and you're by yourself and you're like free to do whatever the fuck you want to do, as long as you get your fucking loads where they need to go and you pick up when you need to pick up, you're going to have all of these different options. So I am trying to help you make those decisions and navigate those options. So the recap versus reset. My personal opinion, I like my reset for personal reasons. I'm not out here for money. I don't have to be out here to make money. If that is why you are coming out here, is to make money, make a lot of money, you have two options. You can take a lighter day and just run 1 to 2 loads every single day and stay in one regional area. Or you can get a dedicated route where you'll just always have your fucking miles and you'll always know where you're going. Or over the road, you can still run recap and still travel the whole fucking country. Or you can just run like a maniac 11 hours a day and every 6th day take 34 hours off. And just know that you're not going to make any money during those 34 hours. Either way you go, it's up to you. But this is what recapping looks like. Every day is the 8th day, obviously after you make your first 8 days. I'm still on day 7. Tonight at midnight will be day 8. I get my hours back. I can finish the load, no problem. If they try to put something on me, if it looks nice, we'll keep recapping. I'm hoping that they don't offer me anything that looks wonderful, because I really want to go to the store. Y'all already know I cook on the truck, and we're out of things to cook. We're down to like hot dogs and shit that I don't even fucking like eating. So there's that. But anyways, I love you guys. It's been real. Thank you for all of your questions and welcome backs. I love you all. Y'all have been amazing through this transition. And I'm just fucking glad to be back. And I see that the haters are back. I fucking love y'all. Y'all keep me laughing every morning. The first thing I do is answer all of my notifications on all of my social media platforms. And I start with YouTube because y'all fucking crack me up. Honestly. And one other thing, and I'm glad that I had to redo this video because I forgot to mention it in my last one. I am not trying to be a douchebag by any means possible. Like, I'm just not that bitch. I am a bitch, but I'm really actually nice. Long story short, somebody reached out to me yesterday on a social media platform that I've never, it's only for friends and family, I'll just put it that way. And the name on there is not associated with any other social media accounts that I have at all. And my son jokingly just went ahead and pushed it. It said accept, and I was like, what the fuck did you just do? I don't know this person. Long story short, I ended up taking the person off. I don't know you. I'm not going to put your name out there like that because that's not who I am. But you found me on another platform as well. I would really like to keep all of my trucking family right here. I've already given y'all my Instagram, and I've changed that since because, like I said, I'm getting ready to release a book. But you can still find my name, or if y'all already have me, y'all can share it, whatever, I don't care. But when it comes to something that I haven't given you information on, and you find me, and you're like, hey, I'm from YouTube, to me that's kind of creepy. Just, especially with Snapchat. Snapchat's the app that I'm talking about. It is literally almost impossible for you to find me on Snapchat, because my name is so fucking outrageous. So, let's keep it here on YouTube, guys. YouTube or Instagram. I have plenty of trucking friends that went over there. I'm not opposed to people coming to my Instagram. That's cool. I'll even update it for y'all if you want to talk to me that way. But no Facebook. Stay off my Facebook and stay off my Snapchats, please. Some things I just need to keep private. And that's just the way it is. So, having said that, you can reach out to me here. You can reach out to me on Instagram. I'll update it in the description because then the name is changed. But other than that, stay safe out there, guys. Make good decisions. And positive vibes only. I love you all.